Welcome and merry meet. My name is Lagatha Scarlett, and I'm here today to give you a brief tour of the very first permanent altar that I ever set up. One of the reasons I think it's so important to show this altar isn't necessarily because it's the world's most amazing, fantastic altar setup, but because most of the items on my altar are not quote-unquote witchy. They are things that I got in my childhood or I collected going on little trips with my parents and things like that. So I just want to show you all that you can definitely have an altar set up that doesn't, scream pagan for those of you that have to be a little bit more discreet. Some side notes, I'm filming this video on my iPad and I'm not actually sure where I'm supposed to be looking. So if I seem to be weirdly staring in the distance, that's why. Second note, if any of you have watched more than one of my videos and are wondering why I tend to dress like a school marm, it's because I live in a really tiny rental with my husband who doesn't mean to, but is just always loud if he is existing in my physical space. So I tend to run home and film a lot of these videos on my lunch break. I'm not a school marm, but I do tend to dress like one at work so that people aren't looking down my shirt. Not that it's that impressive, but I just like to kill the temptation. So anyway, stay tuned for my altar video. And for those of you that are more interested in one section than another, I'm going to be posting individual videos in the very near future. And if you're looking at this video through the Hatchling Clan or through Unicoven, pull it up on YouTube and you should be able to see the little card links to the other more detailed sections of the altar review. So thank you for checking it out, and if you have any questions, reach out to me through the Hatchling Clan or Unicoven. The first section of my altar is what I call my cat magic section. I'm going to do a follow-up video about these pieces because I know some of you just aren't going to care about cat magic. As we move on to the center section of my altar, this is the working space for my altar and where I include a little bit more of the quote-unquote general sorts of witchy things. To the left, that goblet right there is what I use as my representation of a chalice. It's actually a goblet that I got at my wedding because my husband and I got married at a Renaissance fair. So that has some special significance for me as well. That blue book is what I use as my Book of Shadows. It is decorated to look like the TARDIS and is also a replica of what River Song uses in the show to keep notes about her timeline and relationship. So I just think that's really neat because I like incorporating pop culture into my magical practice. I have a little fire starter pot in the center that I use to burn things. I use it as a cauldron and I keep some sand in it. I got it on eBay and I'm not actually sure what it was used for, but people used to use them in their houses. And that's one of the more witchy things that I have. As we go up, you can see the meditating figures. It actually holds a tea light and you can put essential oils at the top. So I use that if I'm working with a spell or a ritual that uses oil, plus it makes everything smell nice. I got that from somebody's party light party or something like that. So I've had that for ages and no one has ever really identified my meditating candle holder with anything pagan either. That dragon is actually my representation of the Hatchling Clan. Shortly after I joined, the Hatchling Clan just really resonated to me and made me feel part of a community. So I keep that dragon on my altar to remind me of the Hatchling Clan and all of the positive energy I feel over there. I may have mentioned before in my video, but I have actually taken this altar down because I am moving my sacred space to a different room. So when I set my altar back up, I will have added a Unicoven representation there as well. So as we go on to the right side of my altar, this is what I call my nature and animal magic section. The little bear thing in the center is actually a broken fountain that my granddad used to have in his living room, and was going to get rid of, so I use it because I love little black bears. The fountain I actually got for $4 from CVS, and the animals that you see on the side are important to me as well for reasons that I'll go into in another video. And as we move on, this is the tiny craft section of my altar. I have actually added some items since the filming of this video, but this is what I submitted for use in the Hatchling Clan trailer, and I'm going to go into some more details about this side of my altar later as well, for those of you that aren't particularly interested in tiny craft at this time. I hope you enjoyed my brief altar tour. If you want to know more, check out Unicoven or the Hatchling Clan. The links to those communities are in the description section for those of you watching on YouTube. For those of you watching this through the Hatchling Clan or Unicoven, pull the video up on YouTube and you should be able to see links to the other sections of my altar that will go into a little bit more detail. And you'll also be able to see links in the posts that I'll write to accompany this video.